Hello. So today I feel good. In fact, I feel so damn good that this is now the fourth attempt at making a video about this subject because the last few I was too excitable. The purpose of this video right now is to help you create that excitement about life again, because it is possible. I can't be the only one, and in fact, other people in my network also feel this. So you too can do too. Now I'm talking to those that are right now watching this and have been skipping through various different videos searching for something to make them feel alive or put a smile on their face or to give them ideas. If that's you, keep watching, because there really will be some very simple, actionable methods and practices that you can start doing right now that will change how you perceive the world. And if regularly practiced, in other words, being disciplined, doing it every day, you will step off of the path that you're on right now, that safe path that although feels a bit rubbish, your mind is saying you should stick with it because the other one is full of risk. Eventually, if you keep sticking to these practices, you'll be open to ideas and opportunities and you'll see the world very differently. Let's chuck a few ideas out the window straight away. First of all, this assumption that age is a determining factor as to how we feel and what we're capable of. Your chronological age, as you know already, and I've spoken about this before, is not a determining factor, or is not an indication rather of your biological age. You can do something about the latter. So age out the window, please. That is not what we need to be talking about right now, nor do we need to consider those things that many people do these days, even if they believe they're not so bad at this, that subconsciously, unfortunately, it does still rule their lives. And that is this material need that we're all attached to. And I'm talking to those that, do regularly buy a car or have it on finance, and every 2-3 years they're encouraged to get the next car, but they're paying £600-700 a month for this thing. Is that something you really need? Does it really give you that much joy and excitement? I would imagine it probably does when you get the new car, but how long does that enjoyment last? Probably not very long. And then it just becomes another car. It gets you from A to B. It gets you to work and back. So is that really where you want to be pouring your energy? And isn't it better to find longer lasting experiences, longer lasting floods of positive neurochemicals than those cheap, and I say psychologically cheap, acquisitions of things? Even those, I think, that are stuck in that loop of I must, or we must get a bigger house. We've been here 5 years, our children are growing up, we need a bigger house, we need a bigger house. When you look deeper into all of that, it primarily comes down to how you believe you want to be perceived by others. So let's look at that very briefly. The more you're concerned about what other people think of you, the less happy you're going to be deeper down. Because it's not real. It doesn't mean anything. Who cares what other people think? Now let's look at the crucial things that you can do to your life right now. And that is, number one, your routine. Before we go into the routine, I want you to just contemplate on this mindset. If you create a routine and stick to it rigidly, that may not help you in the long run. The brain kind of likes routine in the sense that it makes it easier for it to function. In other words, if it knows and can predict what's going to happen in the day, then it enables it to pour the rest of its energy into other areas of the brain. The downside to that is that you lose connection with the present moment because you're in predictive mode, and it's this safe mode where the brain is thinking, okay, I get what's coming next, and after you've done that, I understand what's coming next after that. What I've certainly learned is that if you continue to mix things up, to experiment, to play, then it means that your body and mind are constantly in this need of adaptation and change. And it's that adaptation and change that creates positive growth factors in the brain and the body. Those are the things that are going to help you feel good about yourself and are going to help you be more capable at moving around the world. So I think this is particularly important for those that have recently thought about doing endurance activities, especially triathlons, because the training is pretty heavy on the body and the mind. If you go into that, and there's nothing wrong attempting those tasks, those challenges, then make sure that every day is different. Don't just go for a half marathon every day on a slow plodding run. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to cause your body to adapt and change. You should know this already. So next thing, how you wake up in the morning is crucial to how the rest of your day is going to go. So if you wake up and you follow a terrible routine of, first of all, if you've got your mobile phone by the side of your bed, that's number one, actually, to making significant changes in your life. Make sure that you do not go to sleep with your phone by the side of your bed. And so therefore, when you wake up, if that's you and you turn your phone on, of course, it's going to have a negative impact on your brain and your body. The first thing you should do, bearing in mind your phone now is downstairs, it's off, is you turn, you reach, you drink a glass of water, you then sit up on your bed, straight back, feet on the ground, and then especially if you're somebody that has negative introspection that appears in the morning, you allow your thoughts for 5 minutes or so to appear in your mind. Doesn't matter what those thoughts are or emotions, you let them flow through your mind. But what you don't do is try and suppress them. So especially for those that have significantly anxious thoughts, stress-based thoughts in the morning, you need to sit there, eyes closed, allow them to move through your brain, and this is where you become the observer of those thoughts. You don't try and suppress them, simply allow them to move through your mind without judgment. And you could even say to yourself, oh yes, that's another feeling, or oh yes, that's another emotion. So therefore you're disassociating from it. You're just accepting it for what it is, rather than using your analytical mind to think, oh no, why am I thinking that? And oh crikey, yeah, that's true. Today's going to be a terrible day because I'm going to be bumping into this person. So that's a really important task, I think, for most of us, because most are suffering some form of anxiety or stress, wherever it is on the scale, even if they're, down here. I think it's helpful to wake up and just experience the thoughts and emotions that might enter your brain. Once you've done that, then move to some kind of movement flow that you breathe through. Now, this could be the 5 Tibetan rites. As you know, I still practice this every day. It makes an incredible difference to my day. If you move through the 5 Tibetan rites and you breathe through it, then of course you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're moving that oxygen and the blood around your body. You're limbering up. You're engaging your muscles. You're engaging the mind as well in this wonderfully meditative fashion. It doesn't have to be the 5 Tibetan rites. That's what I love to do. But it could be any kind of yogic or Tai Chi or Qigong based movement flow. Just make sure, just like the Tibetan rites, that it works the whole body. Then practice a little bit of breath work. You could do the breath work before. Then, and you know what I'm going to say, it's cold therapy time. And the reason why you should, above anything else, and just in the context of this video, is that by experiencing the cold on a daily basis, every single time you will experience a huge increase in dopamine. And in fact, that dopamine curve will last a good 2-3 hours. So if you've got stuff to do in the day, if you know that you need to be on it at work, well, let's face it, most people do, then that cold shower will do it for you, especially if you don't eat any breakfast. Time-restricted eating is another tenet that I stick to, but I'm not religious to it. Again, this is where experimentation, mixing it up, being playful with life comes into play. I found that if I really restricted my eating to a small window every day, then I did start to lose weight, especially if I was doing high amounts of exercise. So this is where you need to figure out your own path. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because we're all different, but you're going to have to play with this. Also, when you combine it with cold therapy, they can both have an effect on the body that causes you to lose weight. So just be mindful of that. But absolutely worth doing every day. And you know, this video is about that. It's about knowing how to turn on the inner pharmacy of neurochemicals that we have that will make us feel good at any point in the day. Remember my video in which I described pre-flight and in-flight checks. So that is where in the morning you kind of imagine you are the pilot of your aeroplane, and that aeroplane is your body, and your aim, just like a pilot, is to get to the destination in a good way. So in other words, making sure that the cabin is full of oxygen still, that the passengers are happy in the way that you've flown there. You do that as a pilot by doing pre-flight checks, making sure that everything's working, and then in-flight checks throughout the day or throughout the flight. By doing that, you reach your destination having achieved what you wanted to achieve in the beginning of the day. So that means every 45 minutes to an hour, set a timer, set some kind of chiming sound on your phone or whatever you use that says to you and your brain, it's time to change state. So if you're working away at the computer, 45 minutes to an hour, the chime goes off. That means you then have to think, okay, what shall I do next? Because if I continue doing this, the work rate will decline, the efficiency and productivity will decline. If, however, I take 5 minutes out, do some squats, do some push-ups, do some meditation, go for a walk in nature, when I come back to work, I'm going to be far more efficient. So that is you doing your in-flight checks throughout the day. Break it up. Don't have a strict routine. Just know that at some point in the day, you've got to practice breathing. At some point in the day, you've got to move correctly and have fun with it. At some point in the day, you've got to be mindful. And in other words, you know, just even down to taking a chore and making the most of that chore by engaging your senses. Slowing down the prefrontal cortex is a crucial part of this. At some point in the day, you've got to engage with another human being in a positive way. And that could be enhanced if you're helping them. Because that helping actually, although it's semi-altruistic, also gives you positive neurochemicals, especially even oxytocin. So again, you can choose to be excitable by practicing these methods, opening up the inner pharmacy of positive neurochemicals that you've got available to you, that we all have available. And by doing this on a daily basis, you'll flood yourself with more and you'll experience more of these positive chemicals. So there's so many things that you can do once you get your mind in the right state. And when you establish these protocols, flexible protocols on a daily basis, and by the way, how you end the day is also just as important. So try not to go to bed straight after watching the screen. Do try and read some fiction. Don't aim for non-fiction because the brain doesn't need that. You don't need to try learning before you go to sleep. Do try meditation, guided meditation. There's some on my channel. So how you end the day is crucially important as well, of course. But the rest of the time, if you engage in these practices every day and you mix them up and you play with them, play is again a crucial element to all of this, you'll suddenly see some significant changes in your life. And the more you do it, the more chemicals are going to be produced, the more you start especially engaging with other human beings in a positive way, the more opportunities will come your way as well. You will see the world very differently. When you're out in nature, you'll take longer glances at the tree that's been there 700 years, at the animals that are prancing about in springtime, at the colourful nature that we have around us right now in autumn. You'll notice it more because this is slowing down. And when this slows down, in other words, that prefrontal cortex that causes that monkey mind chit-chat, you are able to enter the present moment. The more you do that, the more life becomes enjoyable and eventually excitable. That's how you do it. There's lots that I can teach on this, and I do that on my course. There's a new program that's coming out very soon for those that will have experienced any kind of trauma or PTSD. I do offer one-to-ones. I tend to only do 2 or 3 at a time. There's definitely at least a space available if anybody's interested. I'll drop links below for all of that. And as a last couple of points, if you want to start learning the stuff that I've developed, or rather I've learnt over the years, then there's a link to a few of the courses that I've taken. Also, if you like the video, please do give me a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. I am saying this now more often because I know it makes a difference. And I'd like to be able to spread the word of this stuff that I know works for me, and I can't be the only one. And actually, that's it. We're done. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. Bye for now.